Welcome to another fun episode of Mind Power Meets Mystic. You are here with me, Michelle Walters, and my podcast co-host, Cynthia Varkevisser. We are pressing on with our chakra series, which is turning out to be very popular. So if you haven't caught on to some of these episodes in the past, you'll be able to find many of them. Today, we are talking to a mother-daughter duo. Fearless Generations is the dynamic mother daughter coaching team helping individuals break through fear and step into freedom. With over 40 years of combined experience, Terry and Kelly empower clients to ditch excuses, quiet self doubt, and create intentional lives filled with purpose. Certified through the Fearless Living Institute and backed by real life transformation, they guide others using powerful tools like intentions, gratitudes, and acknowledgments. Through coaching, courses, and community, Fearless Generations bridges the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Welcome, Kelly Fox and Mom Terry Sayre.
Thank you so much. We're happy to be here. That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, I'm
You
so
guys are
impressed.
better than pretty good.
We love you two so much and are really grateful to have you on the show for a bazillion reasons. But as it relates to the fifth chakra, which is about communication and self-expression, I just want to get into it and talk about this mother-daughter business relationship because I think about my mom, Michelle, think about your mom, right? I think about my mom, and there's no way that I would have been able to be a business partner with my mom because I didn't have the honesty to be able to communicate with her in a certain way. And I would love to hear how the two of you decided that this was a good thing and how you are bridging that mother-daughter thing and be equals. I'm not saying that mothers and daughters are not equal, but there is a relationship that you need to shift up exactly in order to balance it out as business. So,
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I think it evolved because of our training. Kelly became a coach, a life coach through Fearless Living Institute before I did. And I really recognized in her a tremendous change. And up to that point, we probably didn't have this. And I won't say it's an ideal relationship, but we certainly didn't have the relationship we have now where we could work together. So watching her grow and transform really made me want to know what was that all about? You know, how could I learn to access some of those same capacities that she was now showing? And so then I went into the coaching training program as well. And because I was trained first to be a trainer, she assisted me in trainings and then she became a trainer and it just kind of evolved that because we had the same language, we had the same understanding, we had the same experience. I mean, not identical, but we both transformed our capacity to have a relationship with ourselves that was healthy, and then we could turn around and build this relationship with each other. And we had this common, kind of like a common platform or understanding to build from. And that was what really helped us a lot. I mean, that's what I see was the impetus or the beginning of this capacity to work together. Because I think lots of mothers and daughters, and I have four daughters, so to be able to work together in a business kind of thing, and we still have, we still work at it. We still recognize when we're not communicating effectively and when we can express ourselves in a way that meets our needs as well as the needs of our partner. So we're learning constantly, and it changes all the time. So that's my interpretation. I'll let Kelly give hers.
Well, I think that there's no way we would be able to do what we do with each other if we hadn't done the work for ourselves first. As Terry was saying, the relationship we have now is nothing compared to what we had before Fearless Living, or especially when I was a teenager. And so doing the work ourselves, going through the process and living it, right? Not just but actually doing it every day, the work is what makes us able to come to the partnership as people who can work together. And I think that that is true in any kind of partnership. Like with you guys, you have to come together, in some, capacity, be able to work with another person, regardless if they're your friend or if they're your parent, right? But I think for us, we had to have some of that healing, um, in our own process, and then also, just the continuation, like she was saying, we continue to work on it. So when something comes up, we talk about it. And it's not always pretty. For sure, it's not always pretty. But we're dedicated to the relationship, and we're dedicated to the partnership. So um and it's just been really unique, I think, for me as one of her daughters, is that um I've been front row, center stage for her whole journey through fearless living. And so I've been able to be right there experiencing her transformation alongside her. So I have a very different relationship with her than my siblings do, I think. And I think, and it's very special to me. It's something um, that I'm very grateful for, is that we have been able to witness, be each other's witness on this journey. And I think it gives me a lot more patience with her. And it does. It gives me a lot more patience with her, but also compassion too. Um, you know, because I can see when she's triggered. I can usually guess why she's triggered. And so how can I support her through that process without triggering her further? That's kind of my the role I take on when we're doing that, nitty-gritty stuff. When we're coaching, it's 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 easy. Mm,
So
We're
tell us
both in
a
our
little,
flow.
yeah. So tell us a little bit about your coaching and about how you kind of navigate the waters with your clients in terms of getting them to be real and open up and make the steps that you guys are guiding or processing with people for making their transformations.
Yeah, I think the thing that sets us apart is that we give you tools. We teach you how to do it. We don't just say, "Hey, do this. This is a really great idea. Go ahead, step out, go for it." We teach you how. And we take you step by step. We'll hold your hand. We'll break it down. We'll take those risks and we'll make them, smaller and smaller and smaller until it's something you can easily step out and do. And we encourage you all along the way, and we give you the steps to help you build that confidence to do it. And I think that that's one thing that makes us different from other coaches, is that we don't just tell you what to do, we teach you how, and then we walk alongside you until you get it. And then we help you remember, and then whatever you need along the process. So
Yeah, it's certainly, when you talk about communication and self-expression, it's really a way of and I've never done any other kind of coaching. So I mean, I've been a teacher for a very long time. I had to learn the difference between teaching and coaching, and walking beside someone and letting people discover, take risks, and be there to be the soft place they could fall back on. And I think that it's really amazing to me to watch individuals, and then we do a lot of workshops or group coaching, to watch individuals be able to take on a strategy or a skill, and in very limited amount of time, because of awareness, be willing to totally change the way that they think about something. I mean, it's just the idea. I'll just, for example, is taking expectations, which bring us self-destruction, where we have expectations and we're tied to specific outcomes, to where we aren't open-minded or open-hearted. and teaching people how to live in intention rather than in expectation.
Mm.
And people, once we share that with them, there's actually there's a visceral response almost immediately. That was for me probably my first awareness that I had the capacity to change my life by just changing the way I spoke, the way I thought, and the way I looked at self-expression and communication. And I think that knowing that I would not any longer should myself or need or, make myself feel guilty or shameful or remorseful, but I would have this concept or this mantra that I was practicing. And I was practicing in the land of intention, not the land of expectation. And I mean expectations I had of myself, expectations others had of me, because I'm a recovering perfectionist and it's an addiction and I'll always have it. But I tell myself, nope, you do what you can when you can, the best you can. So this is me telling myself that's the antidote to perfectionism. And it helps me then to stay on that pathway of valuing myself and being able to express myself and communicate without feeling I have to be a certain way. And that, I think that's tremendous power.
I'm raising my hand because Terry, the teacher, I have a question.
Yes.
As you're talking about this, I'm like getting this picture in my mind that when you are teaching people to talk about and to work from their intention, it's like an arrow. It's like thinking about sort of how your energy moves from where you are forward somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Versus when I think about expectations, when I think about expectations, it's more like a wall.
Mhm.
It's like a how high is that expectation? Is it a tall wall? Is it a medium wall? Is it a low wall? But
Yeah.
it's kind of like teaching people to be arrows and not speak to walls. Did I
Yes.
do
I
good,
love
teacher?
that.
Did I do good?
Yes, I love that analogy. I mean, I think that's a perfect picture. I mean, you can see that, you can
Mhm.
visualize that. And intention does give you that flow towards open to whatever possibility there is.
Right.
And not, in fact, I did a podcast yesterday with Becky Ploutz about how intention, I mean, expectation and being tied to a specific outcome just gives you so many walls because there's so many possibilities. There's so many ways that can flow and ebb and turn and, meander and then, and being open to that rather than saying, no, I have to get there and I'm only going to get there. And that's really when you talk about flow, and that's what we're talking about, the energy flowing through the chakras, right?
Yep.
It's that flow of being open to possibilities, living in the land of intention rather than expectation, and then being grateful, just being grateful for that journey. And that was a total different mindset for me. And it didn't take me long to understand that. Now it's the lifetime practice of living it. Yeah.
Practice has never been one of my strong suits. Just
Yeah. What do you say instead of
yeah.
practice? What do you say?
What do
I'm
I
gonna
say instead of
try.
practice? I'm in play. I keep playing. So
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
That works.
yeah, if it's
Yeah.
not fun, then I'm not going to do it. And so I have to
Yeah.
keep getting fun
Awesome.
again.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think play and practice can be synonyms.
Yeah.
It's just the fact that you're not trying. You're
Right.
not trying to do it. You're playing at it. You're experimenting, you're discovering. And to me, that's practicing too. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
just not one
Words.
of my favorite P words.
Yeah, I love words.
Yeah.
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 Practice
Words are powerful.
perfectionist. Pardon? Yes, they
Words are
are.
powerful.
Right. And
Yeah.
that's, yeah, go ahead.
So it's just important that you pick ones that support you.
For you.
And so if practice isn't your P word, use play. That's totally fine. Because that's what's going to get you out of your head. That's what's going to get you into your heart. That's what's going to get you moving. Um, and we're talking about our throat chakra. So our words, right? How we speak, how we communicate, that is going to, play a big part on how you move forward. But yeah, intentions are very much about how you show up. So how are you wanting to show up today? How are you wanting to play today?
Well,
So,
so I know both of you are parents to large families.
yeah,
Kelly, you have many children.
yeah.
How has the fearless living work uh, affected the way you parent your kids?
Well, it's affected it in a big way. If you talk to my three older kids, they have a very different idea, or they had a very different experience with me as a mom than my three younger kids do, or have. My 17-year-old likes to complain, and I was like, well, do you want me to treat them that way, or are we happy that mom is better? Like, I don't. But yeah, I'm a whole lot more patient. I'm definitely more willing to play. I'm more willing to listen. Um, and to see their innocence. I think that is probably a big thing where I might tend to jump to an assumption of the motivation behind their actions or whatnot. That's what I'm still practicing or playing with, depending on. Is that you know, uh, when you get triggered and how that messes with you and how you start to filter the information coming in and helping them to see that as well. Okay, you've been triggered and you're filtering your information in this way. um you know so I definitely think I'm much more chill mom, but I think that's also come with age, and just the natural wear down of, six kids. But I think, yeah, I mean, I'm definitely a different mom, though. I started Fearless Living when I was 28. So I had just had my second child. So they've all had me at different stages, but I definitely think that the younger ones are, well, I mean, they're all getting the same mom now, but I definitely think I'm better now than I was.
That's hilarious. It's
She's
hilarious
she's
because
she's
I'm sure
modest.
you're, yes, exactly. Great model of your mom, right? And then so you already had great foundation, and then Fearless Living's just pumped it up. I love how Terry was led by Kelly, by Foxy. I love calling you Foxy. That Terry was led by Foxy to go into Fearless Generations, and then Foxy went back and followed Terry to become a trainer. I
Yeah,
love this because that's a great symbiosis, right? The
yeah.
playing it back and forth, and that you're a mom as well. And I know that, of course, your kids are full grown, but how has it changed your parenting? And Kelly, do you witness more often, or do you know when to witness and when to step in because you know your mom so well? Tell us a little bit more about that before we go back into your training as, as partners.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think I was 60 when I first when Kelly first went into
Love that.
Fearless Living, and she was living in Georgia, which that was the first of my children to leave, leave California. And I think I went back when she had both of the kids that she had back there. I went to, stay with her.
I only have one kid there.
Yeah, huh?
I only have one kid there.
Oh, okay. So I
Mm.
went back when Daniel was born. And she was so excited about Rhonda Britton and this whole thing, learning about. And then I went to her graduation, which was in Denver. I don't know what year that was, but and there were hundreds and hundreds of coaches there. And I don't know how many were graduating, quite a few graduating. And I met one of the people that she graduated with, JJ Fredrickson. I became her study client, and so I was coached by a coach in training as a study client, and I got the full coaching 12-week art coaching of Fearless Living, and that really changed my life as a person. And even though my children were grown, I had grandchildren. Um, my kids all noticed a difference in me. all of them. And they all were very supportive, very, very supportive. And the difference made a difference in their lives because I was a very angry person. And I found out, through the process, I was angry because my needs were not being met and I didn't know how to meet them. And so when I would be triggered, I just became angry. And so they were used to an angry mom, and it didn't take a lot to make me angry. And so by learning that and how to control, not really control, but just how to understand and see that it was because I was being triggered that I was not loving myself. I was not thinking I was good enough, that those things were creating this anger. So that anger is gone. I seldom, I mean, anger is just a feeling, and sometimes I'll get a little bit angry, but it doesn't sit in my heart, sit in my soul, and just take me over, So I'm fortunate because that can kill you. And so health-wise, mental-wise, spiritually, emotionally, learning why that anger was there, the needs that needed to be met that weren't being met, and a very supportive family, I was able to eliminate that self-destructive behavior, that addiction, eliminate it. And that changed my life, and changed all of their lives, and has certainly changed my grandchildren and great-grandchildren's lives. So that legacy of transformation will go from generation to generation. And that I'm really, really grateful for.
That's
Yeah.
a
My kids,
fantastic story, Terry.
Yeah, yeah.
Go ahead, Kelly.
my kids don't know her, like they don't know the mom that I grew up with. So, when you have those stories with your kids, like, well, my mom did this, or if I said that to my mom, she would, and I'll tell them things and they're like, that's not Nana.
Thank God.
Kelly, why don't you tell us a story about a client that you have worked with, or the two of you have worked with, who had a big transformation?
Oh, you put me on the spot. Well,
Yeah, but you got so many of them,
I
Kelly.
know, but I gotta think of one now. I love all of our clients. We usually work with our clients for they tend to stick around and keep coming back, and so I love that. Um, I think one thing that just came to mind that Cynthia, you asked about earlier, of um, how we help people to express themselves, had to be honest, to get real, is that we really put a lot of energy into creating a safe container. And so that is something that's really important to us, and something that all of our clients tell us about, the safe container that we create for them to open up and be real, and be honest with themselves and each other, because we love groups. I love groups. And we right now we're doing mainly in-person workshops. And so when you're together for that amount of time in a room, all learning the same skills, practicing, sharing, getting really real and raw with each other, amazing things happen. And I think our last retreat that we had, we did up in the mountains. It was beautiful. All our participants were amazing. This is a little bittersweet because our client passed away
Oh.
since then, but she's 82, and her Parkinson's was advancing, and she would kind of go back and forth on, you know what, I'm okay, just not doing anything. And then but at the retreat, she set all of these really amazing goals for herself, and how she was going to have a routine. And you could just you could just see how it changed her demeanor, and how she held herself, and how she sat in the room, and how she participated, and spoke up and shared. And she you could just see it. And it was just really awesome to to witness that, to be a part of that with her. And she had been with us for, years, but, to be with her on this journey, to finding out she has Parkinson's, having it advance, and this, trying to discover where she is and who she is in this new body. And then for her to be, like, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do this and be all excited. It was just so much fun to be a part of. Unfortunately, she passed away a few months after, but I feel good that she left feeling good about, where she was going, and who she was and how she was going to, you know, um, tackle this new adventure in her life.
That's so beautiful. That is so beautiful and touching. Um, while you're talking about this, I want to ask you about your partnership in retreats. So Michelle and I have this thing called Mind Power Meets Mystic, the project, where I go in and I do one half of a session and Michelle comes in and does the other half. What it's really easy to see is that I am the punchier one and Michelle is so much kinder and sweeter. And I will come in and say some gross things that are outrageous. And then Michelle comes in and she kind of, settles it out. Now, with between the two of you, and I know that you're at a place where you don't need to talk about it anymore, who handles what during these times? Because I know that that happens in your partnership.
I'd like to hear that, Kelly.
Yeah. I think you should go first with this one.
Well, Kelly is definitely the detail person, and I'm fine with that. I'm the big idea person, and Kelly is the detail person, and that works out really well. What I like about I would say that we probably have much the same personality, so not one of us is more aggressive than the other, or that. I mean, I come from a place of experience and wisdom that she can't have because of her age. So that's what makes a difference with us. We have two generations. And so we can share from our perspective in a way the other can't. And I think that's what really would say that's the 1-2 punch, is that she's got the youth, which she's not that young anymore, but anyway.
Hey.
I mean,
Rude.
yeah, I know. But I mean, her kids are growing up now. So her kids are 22 down to, I think,
8.
8. And my kids are 55 down to 42. And so that's a whole different mindset. And that's what we bring to it. I would say the difference. I probably talk more intellectually. She talks more emotionally. So that could be a difference as well. Because I like to talk. I like to talk with big words. I love that. I mean, I love words. I love to wordsmith. And so I'm using, all these expressions that I do. And she comes in and just, down to earth. So I say those would be the two big differences. Would you agree, Kel?
Yeah, definitely. Our voices are like at the beginning when I would try to write copy or content, and try to write from a united voice. It really wasn't possible because our voices are very different. I'm very casual, I'm totally cool with lots of adjectives and
Totally cool.
totally that's a joke that but anyways, yeah, so I'm cool with small words and keeping it simple. Terry likes to use her vast vocabulary and stuff like that. So yeah, we're very different in that aspect. She's much more school smarty, I guess, than me. But I think that we definitely complement each other, in the sense of she said, we have a lot of the same foundation, to who we are at the core. So I don't think we're like bad cop, good cop or anything like that. We're pretty much both, probably softies.
Beautiful. So
Mhm.
we're at that point where it's about time to wrap up. Kelly or Terry, would one of you tell us something that our users could do to meet you, or there an event you have coming up? I know you have a big event in the fall. Why don't you share about that or whatever you would like?
Yeah, all right. Well, you can always go to Facebook and go to Fearless Generations, our Fearless Generation group there, and you can catch Terry Talks every weekday, which is Terry doing a 1 minute video to support you in your fearless journey. And then our event that's coming up September 18th through the 21st, we are doing an in-person Change Your Life retreat in Laguna Beach, California. We've rented out an entire boutique hotel on the beach, and it's going to be amazing. And it's all inclusive. You get your food, you get your room, you get um, activities that are going to take you out of your comfort zone and fearless generation. So it's going to be a really great event, and you can find that on our website, which is fearlessgenerations.org.
Thank you. Thank you, Terry. Thank you, Kelly. We're so glad to have the Fearless Generations dynamic duo on our show today.
Well, thank you, my dear
Thank you.
friends,
Thank
our dear
you.
Thank
friends.
you so much. So great.